What an exciting night. For each of these inductees this evening, the road leading to this CPAE recognition has led through undoubtedly hundreds of rotary halls and training rooms across general platforms, stages like this, and of course, over virtual airwaves. But for our next CPAE Hall of Fame inductee, the initial dream of speaking professionally was birthed in the rough and tumble real worlds of distribution and manufacturing. From the boardroom to the shop floor, from the countless face-to-face encounters that he had with employees and customers, this Hall of Fame speaker learned firsthand the importance and inherent value of accountability. Accountability, the foundational means for ensuring productivity, profitability, and growth for individuals and organizations alike. Accountability, the calling that became this inductee's life and his mission to build a more accountable world. And for the past 28 years, that's exactly what he's been doing. By way of supporting his own international accountability movement, by writing a dozen books directed to the topic, and of course, by speaking to hundreds of audiences and hundreds of thousands of individuals around the world. So tonight, being accountable to my role here and putting to good use a few of the titles from his very successful books, No Matter What, I Am Accountable, and No More Excuses, it is my privilege and my honor to present my colleague, my friend, and my brother. As the newest CPAE Hall of Fame member, none other, ladies and gentlemen, than MBA, CSP, past president, and now CPAE, Sam Silverstein.
I want to share a view of accountability that is different from probably anything you've ever heard.
Before we can expect our team members to be accountable to us, we as leaders have to be accountable to them. So, if you're a leader, you need to ask yourself, just how accountable am I?
That's what leadership is. It's taking the responsibility for the people you lead. You have the ability to impact their life beyond the surface level.
Accountability is the highest form of leadership because accountability is a commitment between people. It's a commitment from the leader to those people around them first, and then an inspired commitment in return.
Accountability is not a way of doing. Accountability is a way of thinking, and specifically, it's how we think about people.
Thank you. Willie Jolly called me one morning and on my cell phone. Now, Willie doesn't call me all that often, but sometimes he calls me for tech stuff, and he did call me this morning, and he starts into what he was saying, and as he started, I hit the speaker button on the phone because Renee was right there, and he proceeded to tell us that I had been inducted. We got off the phone, and Renee and I cried and danced, and then we went back to work. I mean, come on. We got to get some stuff on the calendar, don't we? And an hour later, I come out of my office where Renee is in the bigger office. We'll talk about that later now. And I called Willie on the phone. And I called him, and he answers the phone, Willie Jolly. And I said, Willie, hey, it's Sam. And he says, yeah? And I said, I just have a question for you real quick. Did you call me about an hour ago to tell me that I'd been inducted into the Hall of Fame? Or was that just a dream? I need to confirm this. And we had a little laugh and went about our day. I want to thank the CPAE committee that gave me this honor to engrave my name next to the names of so many great speakers in this organization. I can't thank all the people that I have relationships with in this room, in this organization. There's so many of you. We've worked on boards together. We've worked on CLC. We've been in the chapter together. We've been in masterminds together. We've had deep conversations in the hall. We've visited with each other. We've prayed together. We've buried family members. We've birthed kids. We've done it all. And to all of you, I am truly grateful. But I cannot let this moment pass without thanking you, Phil. You're my North Star. Thank you for being in our life. You and Susan mean the world to Renee and I. I need to thank Michael Domish. You know, all those phone calls, man, we pulled each other through the last year and a half. I love you, brother. You and Karen are special. Rick Jekyll, you have been in my corner for 2 decades, and you and Sharon are so dear to Renee and I just want to let you know how much we love you. You know that, but I just have to tell you that. And of course, none of this happens without that beautiful woman sitting right there. When I came home and said, I think we're going to sell the business and I'm going to speak, and after Renee regained consciousness, you know, she was right there by my side. Renee, you have been by my side with everything I've ever tried to do. You are my biggest fan. You are my biggest supporter. You are always pushing me forward. You are always there. I would not have achieved anything of significance in my life if it had not been for your presence in my life. I love you. Phil mentioned my mission is to build a more accountable world. Accountability is not a way of doing. Unfortunately, that's how the world sees it. The reality is accountability is a way of thinking. Specifically, it's how we think about people. I used to think I was halfway decent at this. You know, I'm a pretty good speaker, pretty good writer. And looking back, I guess I got pretty good results. And then a few years ago, I came to an understanding, a realization, that the message of accountability wasn't something that I created. It's not mine. I don't own it. It was gifted to me, and it was gifted to me with the responsibility to share it. It's not about ownership. It's about stewardship. And ownership, we know, if it's yours, you can do what you want with it. You can leave it outside in the rain. You can trash it, take care of it, lose it, keep it, whatever, you own it. But when you're a steward, you have to take care of it. You have to nurture it. You have to look out for its best interests, and you have to prepare it for a future when you will not be there. When you see things differently, you act differently, you commit to it differently, and you get a different result. And that is what happened. And so my challenge for you today is I challenge you, all of us, as members of NSA, to look at our message and to realize that we don't own that message. We're the steward of that message. And when we approach our messages as a steward, we will see them differently. My mission is to build a more accountable world. When you know what your mission is and you see your message through the eyes of a steward, you treat your clients differently, they excel differently individually, as an organization, and in the community. And when we all do that, then we are all working together to build a more accountable world. Thank you for the honor that you've shown me. Thank you all.